this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be doing a review for the 2006 movie Cars. So in this movie, Lightning McQueen, a hotshot rookie race car driven to succeed, discovers that life is about the journey, not the finish line, when he finds himself unexpectedly detoured in the sleepy Route 66 town of Radiator Springs. En route across the country to the big Pissing Cup Championship in California to compete against two seasoned pros, McQueen gets to know the town's offbeat characters. So, before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part like he always does and everything first. So, I'm going to go ahead and let Big D go first. So, take it away, Big D.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D again, and I'm going to be collabing with Robbie, and this time we're going to be talking about Disney and Pixar's 2006 sports comedy flick, Cars. The film is set in a world populated entirely by anthropomorphic vehicles, and follows a young self-obsessed race car named Lightning McQueen, who along the way to the most important race of his life becomes stranded in a forgotten town along Route 66 called Radiator Springs. Once there, he learns about friendship and begins to reevaluate his priorities with the help of various other cars, including Doc Hudson, Sally, and Luigi, Ramon, and of course Tow Mater, and all the others. Now, I've seen this film numerous times. I still have my actual DVD of the film since its release 20 years ago. And I must say, this is easily an underrated gem of Disney and Pixar's. Now, I do kind of know some people have their own opinions about this film, and I completely do understand. I feel like Cars is a very cool film in my head. Well, I'm kind of mixed though on its sequels though, but the first one is much more cool in my head. The score for the film was composed by Randy Newman, who is certainly no stranger to working with Disney and Pixar, and has great songs in my head, including a cover of Route 66 done by John Mayer, plus songs from Brad Paisley and Rascal Flatts, who covered Tom Cochran's hit Life is a Highway. So, from what I experienced in Cars, it proved to have such an amazing atmosphere. I think the setting of Radiator Springs is absolutely very incredible, much like the racetracks that were used. Now, when I first saw the film, this kind of brought me back to seeing various other things, because this was not the first time we would see anthropomorphic cars in animated form, because this was done long before this in 1974 with the Hanna-Barbera cartoon Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. But years later we got this film, and I think it's even more fun. The film did pretty well for Disney and Pixar. It also got nominated for 2 Academy Awards, but unfortunately lost to Happy Feet, but did however win the Annie Award for Best Animated Feature though. It also won the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature Film as well. And this film was dedicated in memory of Joe Rand, who co-wrote the story and screenplay for the film. The voice acting cast for Cars is absolutely great. I really liked Owen Wilson who voiced Lightning McQueen. He does an exceptionally good job. We got Paul Newman as Doc Hudson, who was absolutely good, and Bonnie Hunt as Sally. Very good. Other voices we have are Tony Shalhoub as Luigi, Cheech Marin as Ramon, Michael Wallace as Sheriff, George Carlin as Fillmore, Paul Dooley as Sarge, Jennifer Lewis as Flo, and of course Larry the Cable Guy as Tow Mater. Not only that, but we also had the voices of Michael Keaton, Jeremy Piven, as well as race car driving legends like Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip. Oh yeah, and even Dale Earnhardt Jr., plus others. The list goes on. In the end, Cars, I feel like it's such a fun film. Sure, it might not be one of the main greats of Disney and Pixar, but I feel like it's a very nice film. It will go on to have 2 sequels as well as 2 spin-off films from Disney Toon Studios in the form of Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue, which I haven't seen anyway. So from my point of view, Cars is just so good that, in my opinion, you don't have to take my word for it, but it's got a great story, great characters, great voice acting cast, a great score from Randy Newman, and great soundtrack as well. I almost forgot, Sheryl Crow is also on this soundtrack as well. So, you be the judge. I would recommend this to any of y'all that are interested in this. So as always, thank you for making me a part of this, Robbie, and until our next collab, this is the Big D saying see ya.
Thank you, Big D. It was great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy collaborating with you and stuff. It's always a pleasure. So now I'm going to get into my part. So I think this is a decent time from Pixar. It's got some really good moments and everything. The characters of Radiator Spring are some of the most likable characters in the movie for sure, especially Luigi and Guido. They're just really lovable characters and everything. But all of the other little side characters, Ramon, Flo, and Fillmore, and Sarge and stuff, they're all really likable characters too. None of them really have a lot to do and everything, but they're kind of just there as part of the town, but they're just likable characters. And I think they all have their own moments to shine and stuff. The big main characters of Radiator Springs are Doc, Mater, and Sally and stuff, and I like all 3 of them quite a bit too and everything in this one. Mater goes a long way, though, in the sequel. They give us a little too much of him in the sequel, but Doc and Sally, I think, are both really likable in this movie, and Sally's not in the sequels near as much as she should be, and everything, and Doc isn't in them at all, really, because he passes away between this movie and the first one because Paul Newman passed away. But I think that all of them are really good. Owen Wilson is Lightning McQueen, though, is just absolutely perfect casting. And I think Larry the Cable Guy was perfect as Mater as well, and everything. I think they both fit their roles really well. And even though I do think Mater, too much of him goes a long way, and a lot of that also is too much of Larry the Cable Guy goes a long way for me and everything. I just kind of have a personal, I wouldn't say hatred towards Larry the Cable Guy, but I also kind of just am not very big on him because a lot of people in my family love him and pushed him on me when I was a kid and stuff, so I've never been like super big on Larry the Cable Guy, but I think he's great as Mater, especially in this first movie. And Paul Newman is really great as Doc too. I think he really brings a lot of depth to the character and stuff that a lot of other actors wouldn't have been able to. I think he pulled it off really well and everything. And I also really like Lightning McQueen's character arc, because he goes from being this insufferable little douchebag to being one of the best written Pixar characters. He has a really good arc and journey throughout the movie, and goes from kind of being this unlikable, self-centered jerk to caring about everybody else and everything. It's kind of cliched and predictable and stuff, but they do a good job with it. And I think the animation holds up really well, which I feel like that on almost all the Pixar movies and stuff, the animation holds up on, and I feel like this is no exception and stuff. It still looks really, really good, and the score in this one is really good too. I think Randy Newman did do the score for this movie, but I don't think he actually was involved too much with the songs in this one like he was some of the other Pixar movies, but I think he did at least do the score for this and everything, and I really did enjoy the music in this movie. I think it was really, really good. Really catchy stuff and everything, and just really well done as far as music goes and everything. The songs in here are pretty good too. You got Real Gone by Sheryl Crow that plays at the beginning of the movie, and that song is pretty catchy and stuff. The one that I really like the most, though, is Find Yourself by Brad Paisley, which it plays during the movie in one part, and then it plays during the end credits, and That song is just a really, really good song, and I absolutely love it and everything. So the music in this one is really good. And as far as negatives go, I will say that while I like Lightning McQueen, he's a really good character and everything. His cockiness and stuff makes him annoying, and he's borderline unlikable throughout the first third of the movie and stuff. He really don't start becoming more likable and stuff till towards the end of the second act and into the third act. But his character arc is really well written and stuff, but he is very annoying at first and stuff. And I love Larry the Cable Guy as Mater and stuff. I think he does a good job playing him and everything, and Mater is really likable in this movie. Personally, I don't really have any complaints with him in this one. I will say that the character does become a little too popular for his own good, though. And I will say the story is pretty unoriginal for a Pixar movie, especially at the time that this movie came out and stuff, because Pixar was on the top of their game with Toy Story and Monsters Inc. and Incredibles and Finding Nemo and A Bug's Life and everything. So when this movie came out, I was super, super hyped for it, and this was the first Pixar movie I walked out of feeling a little disappointed with and everything. And while I don't hate this movie by any means, I actually really love it. It's really grown on me a lot in recent years. I would say it's still not one of my very most favorite Pixar movies either. I feel like they've had a lot of ones that are better than this one, but I also feel like there's also a lot that are worse than it too. So like this one's kind of in the middle of the road for me, no pun intended, movie and stuff. It's not one of the absolute best, but it's not one of the absolute worst. And I will say also, this is also a lot like the movie Doc Hollywood. If you've seen that movie, you'll know what I mean, but it kind of has the same premise and stuff. Just trade in an actor for a race car, and pretty much you got the same story. And it's a good movie and everything, just like this one is. This one's way more memorable and stuff, but yeah, it's had a better legacy and stuff too. But I will say that this one is definitely a lot like that movie, and it's just not quite on the same originality level as some of Pixar's previous stuff. But all in all, I think Cars is a really fine movie. It's not one of their absolute best by any means, but it's not one of their worst either. It's just kind of a middle of the road movie. Yeah, fun enough time and everything. So I'm gonna say I give Cars an 8 out of 10. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody. I just want to say thank you for watching this video and everything. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and get more people going, help the channel grow. I really appreciate it. And thank you all, and have a good day.